So today we're going to be reviewing the kettle operation. The first thing that I always suggest is that you go to the owner's manual. It's the large owner's manual. There's a section for each piece of equipment. The kettles are here, and go through that information. It talks about safety, and it explains all the different screens that I'm gonna show you today. But just as a good review, always refer to the owner's manual. It also has troubleshooting and a parts list. So when you turn on the kettle, you're going to have the home screen. So we're right now, this will tell you the date and the time. It should be accurate. So we're going to go to kettle control. There's all the different pages. It's very much like a computer. So it has different pages. There's kettle control, water control, and temp control. Those are the three pages that we're going to look at today. First one is kettle control. That's where you can put your cover up or down. It's all air activated. We could tilt the kettle. We could operate the agitator. We could open or close the air-operated drop-down valve, and we can always tell if the steam is on or if the chilled water is on. And it also tells you the temperature of the kettle or the product in it. Right now it's just reading an ambient temperature of 76.1. So the first thing I think we'll do is let's close the kettle, close the lid. And I am going to pull these two pins. And I'm going to raise the lid again to be able to show you the grate. It will stop if I let go. It's all air activated, so it's all an open and close. And okay, so this grate is, when it's down, the agitator will run. You can add ingredients and water while this grate's down. But if you were to lift the grate, it will stop the agitator. So I can show that, but I don't know that what, can you see in the kettle? Okay, so we'll start the agitator. We're gonna go forward. Right now it's set at 50% speed. If I wanted to change that, I could just put it at, say, 80%. If I want to run it faster, enter, and to run it a lot faster. I can also use the arrows to lower it. Let's say we want to do 70%, or we really want to make it very slow, we'll just do 10%. I'll go very, very slow. But if I were to, I'm going to put it back at 25. If I were to raise this grid, that agitator is going to stop, and that's a safety. And it's in, if you are, you just want to use a scraper or whatever, but once you put your agitator, your screen back down, your agitator will stop unless you turn it off. Okay, so it's all on the panel. The kettle will tilt if you have the hoses hooked up. You should not tilt it. Right now we don't have any hoses hooked up, so we could tilt it. I like to have it with the grate up if I'm tilting it. So I'm going to lower the lid, put that grate back on. Again, if I stop, take my hand away, that lid will stop. To take the grid up, I put the pins in. And I'm going to open it. And you want to have a lid all the way open or all the way closed when you're working. That one over there, if we can see it. Can you see it on the camera? No. Anyway, make sure your lids are all the way open or all the way closed. Okay. So I'm going to show you the tilting mechanism just so you can see the inside of the kettle better. And we're going to go tilt down. It's very slow. Again, if I let go, it stops. I'm going to stop and show you. This is a removable piece. It's there to keep in your steam and your product most of the time when your kettle's in the up position. When you're going to start to tilt it, you do want to take it off. It might fall off, so you don't want that to happen. It's really just to keep your steam in when you're cooking. So right now, if you're tilting, you're probably cleaning or you're going to pour something out. Good. Okay. So while we're in this position, I'm going to show you a little bit about the agitators. These are the paddles. There's a ring that's here on the end. If you want to, you should remove the paddles every day after cooking, especially if you cooked anything with any particulate, chili, tomato sauce, anything that'll stick to those paddles. And they do need wash. They can be washed in hot soapy water and then put right back on again. So the ring comes off. If I get it in the right position. Just a stainless steel ring comes off, and these slide right off. You'll notice there's one over here that's got a cutout. That helps it go around the agitator on that side. And if we were to rotate the agitator, which we can do, let me show you that feature. You want to always put the ring back on so your paddles stay on. So now we're going to jog the agitator so I can show you the other set of paddles. So when your kettle is in, when the grid is off the kettle and it's in any position, but if you have the agitator on, we have it forward, you'll see up here it says close grate to run agitator, but jog if open. So to jog it, you need two hands. There's a button on this side of the panel and the one on this side of the panel, and it takes two hands, so that's because you don't want any hands in your kettle. And you can jog at the speed and the direction you have it already set. So we're going forward, and when I let go, it'll stop. So I wanted to bring this set of paddles up. And you see this one's long and wide, and it's to go over that valve opening. And then these are more small paddles and pin again. So these all come off. These are all the little ones in the center. We'll jog up. You see these are just all small ones. They can all come off and they just go in a bucket. You put them back on. The only ones that are specific are these end ones. Just make sure you get the little one by the end of the agitator and the large one by the opening. So that's kind of your cue. If you forget to put a pin on, they're going to come off in your product. Make sure you retrieve all of them. So you're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, you can count. You should have a count of what you take off and what you put back on. But if you lose any in your product, you do want to find them. You may want to pull that product, but you definitely want to retrieve these pieces. They're quite expensive. You don't ever want to throw these out unless they're damaged, of course. you would replace them. But if they get lost in the mac and cheese, you want to retrieve them, probably check with your supervisor on what to do with that mac and cheese, but pull your paddles out. So now we're going to raise the kettle up. Again, if I were to let go, it stops. Or we're going to raise it up. Okay. We're going to close the discharge valve. Tells me right now it's open. So to close it, I'm going to hold it for 3 seconds. Oops, and I open it again. Okay. It's closed. All right. I'm going to add some water. So to add water, I'm going to go to the water control page. So again, we got different pages. We were on kettle control. We're going to go to water control. So water control, this kettle will hold 200 gallons of water. So let's put in about 25 gallons of water. So I can go here and put my set point. That's 25. I hit enter. It tells me I already added 2.3 gallons, but that was yesterday. So I don't want that to take out from today's mount. So I'm going to reset. So you should always have a 0 there unless you put it in for that product. So we're going to start filling automatically. But I have to put the hose in. Otherwise I'll fill my shoes. So I can put this here. I like to hold it when I turn the water on because water pressure changes, you know, through the day. So we're going to start filling. We close the drain, we're not getting any coming out the bottom, and we're filling the kettle. Well, say my recipe only calls to put in the first 10 gallons. Let me watch this. Well, I got 10.7, I was close. So I can stop it and then add whatever. Maybe I'm going to add some milk powder or, you know, another ingredient, and then continue to add my water. So since that's part of my initial 25, I'm just going to hit start filling again, and it will continue to fill up to 25 gallons. Now I want to heat up the water. So I went to the temp control page. So it shows me my water coming in is 81.3 degrees. And I have 25 gallons. Our set point is 210. You can have your set point at just about anything, 100, 120, anywhere above your ambient water temperature. So let's put it at 120. So we can hit that, 120, enter. Say it was a sanitizer that wanted to be heated up, but not too much. 120. We want to turn the steam on, and it will say enabled. Instead of on, it says enabled. Okay, you heard it come on, and it will now start heating. Okay, this kettle has two jackets, has a split jacket. So it has an upper and a lower. So we are doing just the bottom jacket, heating just the bottom jacket, because we only have 25 gallons of water in there. So if you wanted to make a smaller product, so your full kettle is 200 gallons, your A half kettle is 100 gallons, and then actually a quarter kettle is about 50 gallons. So we'll pretend we got 50 in there. So if you were just making a small recipe, maybe it's a test recipe or it's just for a certain population, you can run this half jacket. Not every kettle has that, but this one has it. So right now we're doing the bottom. So instead of your product kind of what I call scorching all the way up to the full jacket, you're just going to have the heat down here, and this part of your kettle is not going to be quite as scorched, without product in it. Of course, when you're doing a full kettle, you want the full jacket. So we're right now we have the kettle heating. It shows the temperature that it's gotten to. It shows the temperature both in a kind of a dial and also the actual temperature there. And that was heating the kettle. If we were cooling the kettle, we would have hit the cool and enabled that. I'm not going to do it this time because our cooler's not running, but we can hit cool. It would say enabled, and that would be running your chilled loop for some of your products like your cold salads, gelatin product, whatever, that you want to use a chilled jacket. So, and this would again tell you the temperature of the kettle product and what is on. So that's this page, that's the temperature control. If I were again go to kettle control, it's showing me the temperature of the kettle. It's showing me that my lid is up. It'll show me that my steam is on or off. My cold water, if my cold water were on, it would show me it was on or off. There, it shows me my discharge valve. So this is kind of like your home dashboard. That's that screen. Water control was how we added water. We did it automatically. We could also add it manually. So again, you would want to put the hose over here. It's not going to add any right now because it's already it's water added. We asked for 25 gallons and it put in 25. If we were to reset that and say we wanted to put 10 gallons in, but we want to manually add it, we want to make sure that it goes pretty slow. We can add it and then stop. Add it and stop. So that's manually add. It'll do it at your speed, automatic. It just does it till you stop it. If you want to stop it, you hit cancel. Like if it's going somewhere you don't want it to go, or you just decided you wanted to stop it. And then again, you could start filling. We only put 3.4 gallons in there. If you wanted to continue up to the 10, just hit start filling again. Or cancel it all out. You can just reset it. So that was, again, the water, temp control. That we just reviewed that, the full jacket, half jacket, your temperature. You could go up or down or use the keyboard. It'll tell you if your steam's on or off. It'll also tell you up here enabled, what is enabled, what's on, what's off. And then if you wanted to look at a temperature chart, this will show you the temperature of what you've done, like all your products that day. So it'll show you right here the set point for your kettle and what your kettle is at. So if you're watching how your product cooks all day, you can see that on a digital screen. And then there's a way for the supervisor to download that if she wanted to put it on the computer. All right, so we talked about turning the kettle on, turning it off. So right now, say we're finished for the day, I'm going to turn it off. I would though close the lid. So let me go back, close the lid. So as you know, we go to kettle control, and we're going to close the cover. We can put our little piece back on. Keep it nice and tight and clean. And then we can go back to home page. If you want, you don't have to, but you're just going to turn it off. So say in the course of the day's work you had a malfunction and you needed to do what I call lockout tagout. This control panel, you always want to hit your e-stop. If you have any emergency, you always want to hit the e-stop. And to turn it back on, you're going to pull it out, hit reset. But right now, we're going to hit this e-stop for lockout tagout, and we would push in, pull this out, pull this red lever out, and then facilities can put their lock or cable, whatever they're going to do, the red tag right in here, which will inhibit anybody from using that kettle, turning it on. So that's on all the kettles. Right now, we've got it off, got e-stop, so when we turn it back on, and I'm going to turn it back on, and I'll let you see what, it'll tell you your e-stop has been pressed. That's to beam up a little bit. So if we go to do something in kettle control, it's telling me up here, it's always going to give you your errors up here. E-stop pressed, reset to operate. So I could hit this button all day, not going to reset anything unless I pull this back out. And then I reset. And then you'll see our logo, Tux Equipment. You're good to go. Okay? Thank you. On the outside of the kettle, we've got the jacket here, the heated area. This piece is insulated. So, and then this is not. So if you were to lean against this, you should not get burnt, but you don't, if you've got product in there and it's hot, you don't want to touch the upper part of the kettle. Try and keep your body parts away from the kettle, period, when it's hot, but this piece is insulated. This is a steam line, but it has a guard on it. So if this ever gets loose, falls off, you want to make sure facilities gets it all tightened and put back on because that's for your protection. Here's your air hookup or your pump, any air operated products. And then in the back of the kettle is where your main air line to the kettle is. It's back in here behind the control panel. And it's like all the other kettles, it's just a T. On, off for the air. It's just like your pump, and each kettle, they all have the same valve. So against the line is off, with the line is on, and you can always tell when you turn it, oh yeah, that went off. You can hear it, or you can hear it pressurized if you turn it on. And then if you're going to hook something up, you would hook it right to here.